Hi, and welcome to the Changing Perspectives podcast, the show where we discuss a variety of topics, including grief, parenting, pop culture, and relationships. Join us and explore a number of changing perspectives. We're your hosts, Jenni and Josh Brennan. Well, hello, Jenni.
Good morning.
How are you?
Is it still morning?
It's still morning.
It is still morning, yeah.
What's going on?
I have no idea. What are we talking about today? I know I emailed you a whole lot of ideas, and...
Well, you emailed me one that I really liked. That's what we're doing today. But I just wanted to welcome everybody to episode number 69 episodes. We're in a number of different Facebook podcasting groups, like podcast hosts and whatnot. Somebody just hit their 100 episode mark there, and I feel like I was like, oh, we must be close to that, but we're not. We still have 30 episodes to go, but I feel like we've been doing this for 100 episodes. But I thought that was pretty cool that someone reached their 100 episode mark.
I think for when we were chugging along before youth sports took off, and then stopped, and COVID happened, I think we were doing 2 a week. We were
doing 2 a week.
Mm-hmm. And so it seemed like we would reach 100 around a year.
Yeah.
But it's been a little over a year. But we took some time off.
We did take some time off.
So
periodically.
Trying to do some math in my head, I would say another 6 months. Well, another 30 weeks probably if we're just doing one at a time.
But it's exciting. It's something to be looking forward to, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I wanted to also spend a minute and let you talk about something very exciting going on at jennybrennan.com right now.
What's going on?
The newsletter and the contest.
Yeah, there is a contest. That's right. I launched a contest. It runs through Friday the 14th. So through the end of the day, Eastern Standard Time, Friday the 14th. If you sign up for the newsletter, you're entered to win a $20 gift card or gift certificate or $20 towards the small business of your choice. So doesn't matter where you're located. We will notify the winner on the 15th of August, and then you'll let us know the small business that you choose. We'll reach out to the small business and then figure out how to get the $20 to you. Some small businesses have gift cards or gift certificates or e-cards, so we'll figure that out and get it to you. So you'll be, this was our way to kind of support small businesses too. Yeah. Anywhere. So it can be any country. It'll be the equivalent of $20 US. So to sign up, I guess you go to sign up for the contest. I actually should put a link on my Facebook page for the contest.
I think there is.
On my website.
You mean your website,
yeah. If you go to the Changing Perspectives Facebook page, there's a pinned post on the main page. If you go to our Instagram page, the Changing Perspectives Instagram, and click the link that's in the bio, there will be a link there to enter the contest. And I will try to remember to put it on my website at some point today, too. So you can go to jennybrennan.com.
Yes, but that's how you sign up. You go to jennybrennan.com.
You sign up through the link to enter the contest.
To enter the contest, right. But to sign up for the newsletter in general, we talked about that in the last episode. But yes, that contest is very exciting. Can I enter? Is that okay?
Yes.
Am I not allowed?
Oh, no, you're not allowed to enter. No, sorry.
I could use $20 to my favorite local joint. But yeah, that's exciting. So head on over to the Changing Perspectives Facebook page or Instagram page to sign up for the contest.
Perfect.
Awesome.
I'm going to make notes. It's really weird that I have your phone. Okay, notes for podcast. Okay.
Also, before we get into the episode, I wanted to let everybody know in podcast listening land that this is our second live streamed episode. So right now, during this recording, we are streaming this episode live on Facebook and Instagram on the Changing Perspectives Facebook page and Instagram account. So we will continue to try to do this every time we record now. So if you didn't catch this when we recorded it live and you get to view it, be on the lookout for the next recording, and we should be doing these mostly now live while we record.
Yeah, except my new fake Peloton bike came yesterday, and we have to set that up in here. So I don't know.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of room right there. And we got to move some stuff around.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So what are we talking about?
We are talking about. First, I wanted to talk about the iTunes reviews.
Oh, okay. You have a lot of stuff to get through today.
There's a lot of housekeeping here today, and I wanted to say that I think that we figured out the best spot for our live stream video cameras. We have both of them Actually, your Instagram one went to sleep, Jenny.
I think because it has to be plugged in.
Oh.
But you said I was wrong about that. Go ahead and wake it up.
But before I do that, I will say that I wanted to let everyone know you can rate or review us on iTunes. If you submit a new iTunes review, we will read them over the air. So if you want to hear a review read over the air, go ahead and do that. And by submitting reviews and rating us, that allows even more people to be able to reach this podcast and Changing Perspectives. So go ahead and do that.
Right.
What are we talking about today, Jen?
I don't know.
We're talking about the Japanese concept of Ikigai. We talked a minute ago that you had sent me a bunch of different topics to as possible episode content, and I loved this. I thought this was great. So what is Ikigai? Do you know right off the top of your head or no?
Nope.
All right. So I've done a little bit of research. I have lots of different links to share with everybody. I bet you some people...
I was going to see how to pronounce it.
Okay. I don't know what that was.
That's an ad.
Okay. I figured it out. I looked it up like twice. It's Ikigai.
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 Yeah. Ikigai.
Ikigai.
It's not Ikigai.
No.
Ikigai.
No, it's Ikigai. Okay.
Looking at how to pronounce this Japanese word that designates the concept that means a reason for being.
I thought it would just say the word.
Is he going to say it?
To having a direction or purpose. How do you go about pronouncing it? Ikigai.
That's what I said.
Ikigai. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Now, save that link so we can put that in the show notes that we've played this video.
Okay.
Over the air. Ikigai. Thank you, sir, on Jenny's video. A reason to get up in the morning. That's what it is. Enjoying your work, the concept of loving what you do, giving meaning to your existence, combined with the healthy eating and a nice living environment. Your Ikigai is an important ingredient for healthy aging. And I get that definition from toolshero.com. And again, I've got lots of different links that I looked up for this episode, and I'll pick the best ones and put them in the show notes. But so what do you think about that? Is that something that's important?
I'm interested in the history of this.
Well,
is this just like an ancient...
I have the history. What are you doing? I do the research.
I'm writing the notes.
Oh, okay.
So you said I had to put that in the link.
I thought you were like doing the history search.
Nope.
Okay.
What do I think about that? That's great. So my question is, how do you get that?
How do you get that? We're going to talk about that. But let's talk about the etymology of it. The word consists of iki, to live, and gai, reason. So reason to live. The term ikigai compounds two Japanese words, the meaning of life, alive, which is iki, and then kai or gai, meaning an effect, a result, or fruit, or worth, or use, benefit, to arrive at a reason for living, being alive, a meaning to life, or what something that makes life worth living.
So when you're like thinking about this in terms of all of the people out there that are doing like network marketing and sort of self-help, self-improvement, it's sort of like what's your why?
What's your why? Exactly.
Right. Like what's your why? Like what is your reason to get up in the morning? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the French equivalent? Raison d'être?
Reason to be?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's the extent of my...
How did my French pronouncement go?
It was okay.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
So one of the articles I looked at referenced this National Geographic article written by a guy named Dan Buettner, who suggested that Ikigai may be one of the reasons for the longevity of the people of Okinawa. According to Buettner, Okinawans have less desire to retire as people continue to do their favorite job as long as they remain healthy.
That's interesting.
They have a term called moai, a close-knit friend group, is considered an important reason for the people of Okinawa to live long as well. And that's one of the blue...
So moai is your friend group? Your close...
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's one of those, the blue zones. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
In the world? And I think that Kristen Nicole told us to watch that Zac Efron show on Netflix, which we haven't yet. It's on our list. But I think they mentioned something about the blue zones there.
We're about like 3 years behind what they tell us to watch. Like we're finally watching Schitt's Creek.
Oh my God.
Which is not a swear word.
It's a last name.
In the
name of a town.
17 people have told us to watch us over the past like 5 years, and we finally got into it.
So good.
Yes.
I'm kind of addicted to it.
So maybe in a couple years we'll watch the Zac Efron one.
Quite honestly, though, it took a little bit to get going for me.
It did.
Like the first season was kind of draggy, and I'm like, do I really like this? And
I think if I hadn't watched part of season 4 on a plane, I think a couple years ago when we went to Disney. I watched like half of a season on the way down and the other half on the way back. It was season 4. And if I hadn't watched that and known it was going to get sort of better, I think we probably would have jumped ship.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so Zac Efron.
Oh yeah, so I think they talked about the blue zones, and the blue zones are these areas of the world that people live the longest. They have the most centenarians. Is that how you pronounce that? Sardinia, Italy. Go Italy. My family's Italian. Sardinia. What did I say?
I didn't know if you said Sardinia. I didn't know if that was a place.
Sardinia. So they
also have professional mourners.
Oh, really?
They have this group of like very elderly women who, when someone dies, you can hire them to come and professionally mourn, like wail and scream and faint.
They get paid for that?
I mean, I don't know that they get paid big money.
Wow.
And maybe they don't get paid any money, but they're professional. That's what they do, to show your decedent that they were really loved.
So we're going to take a detour for a second, because the blue zone thing fascinates me. It's like, how do you what are the things that you do in your life and the things you consume and your activities and your way of life that makes you live longer? Are there any
blue zones in America? Is it a bug?
No, it's a piece of lint.
Just grab something off.
Piece of lint off Jenny for Facebook and Instagram.
No one needs to see the lint.
So I'm going to share this Time article, and we're going to talk about Italy for a second. It says a largely plant-based diet, daily physical activity, familial closeness have given this blue zone the highest concentration of male centenarians in the world. Sheep herders who tend to walk at least 5 miles a day, and men with daughters who may get especially tender care as they age, live even longer than most in this area. It also doesn't hurt that the M26 marker, a genetic variant linked to extreme longevity, has been passed down through generations in this secluded community. That's interesting. So that's Italy, and we were talking about Okinawa because this episode is about Ikigai, and it says...
So they're probably also primarily plant-based, but also fish.
Yeah. So this Okinawa is the second blue zone listed in this Time article, which again I will share with everyone. Many blue zones emphasize family and community, but bonding reaches its peak in this Japanese culture. Okinawans are supported by their moai, a small but tight-knit social circle meant to be there through all of life's ups and downs, which provides social support strong enough to dull mental stressors and reinforce shared healthy behaviors. The result, a culture that boasts the longest living women in the world, with many surpassing 100.
They're the longest living women, whereas the Sardinia is the longest living men. Very interesting. So really, it kind of sounds like with both, it's not so much the diet, it's the social aspect.
Right.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Well, and the mental health, because this National Geographic, right, the National Geographic reporter talks about how Ikigai may be one of the reasons for Okinawa to be a blue zone, to boast the longest living folks.
Okay, so define Ikigai again.
So Ikigai is a reason to get up in the morning. Let me pull up another article, actually the one you sent me.
Yeah, because wasn't it about like finding your Ikigai?
That's what we're going to talk about today. Like we're defining it, talking a little bit about the background.
Okay.
But how do we achieve it? How do we live it in the real world, the practical application of Ikigai? Do you just keep thinking of Unagi from Friends?
Nope, I just keep thinking of a weird, creepy guy, like an icky guy.
Ikigai?
That's what I keep thinking of.
I don't think that.
Unagi, no.
Unagi.
Okay.
Finding purpose in life is one of the most fundamental human needs. By our very nature, we seek meaning and validation of our place in the grand scheme of things. This is from, where did this is the one you sent me from Positive Psychology. Is that
that sounds probably right.
PositivePsychology.com. It says finding your Ikigai. Well, now I keep thinking of Ikigai.
Sorry.
What did you do to me? In Japanese culture, to find meaning and purpose in life is to find one's Ikigai. While no definitive translation exists, Ikigai, which is a combination of the Japanese words ikiru, meaning to live, and kai, meaning the realization of what one hopes for, can be understood as a reason for being, or that which makes life worth living. So that's really interesting. It goes on to say, research suggests that having Ikigai facilitates the integration of stressful psychological events from the past, present, and future with less conflict or confusion.
Sure.
What do you think about that?
Well, that makes sense, right? And I can't help but think about this in the sort of context of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My mind is going a million different places. So which way do I want to go?
Go with it.
I can't go with all a million at the same time.
Your spontaneous brain gives us content for the podcast.
My spontaneous brain gives me lots of problems.
I'm off the Instagram feed. Hello, Instagram. That's
yeah, it did get moved. I must have bumped
That's
it.
all right. I'll lean forward a little bit.
What was I saying?
You're prettier than me anyway, so.
Oh, you're sweet. What was I saying?
Spontaneous brain.
Yep. Ikigai, interesting, mental health. Reason to be prevents you from sort of, I guess, as a buffer for bad stuff that happens, right? So if your whole sense of self, your sense of purpose, your self-worth is, I would also say, pretty varied and not just tied to one thing, but it's this sort of like rich Ikigai, all of the things that are important to you and that sort of make you get out of bed in the morning. If that's pretty well defined and diverse, then when the bad stuff happens, not if, but when, because life is not easy, it's not fair, bad stuff happens, then you've got a little more of a buffer there because you didn't lose everything. Right? So thinking about it in terms of the context of the pandemic, the pandemic has been hard, right? Because people have lost some of the big things in their lives, or they've changed in a really big way. And I don't know that a lot of people have had this Ikigai, right? They've had they're like high school athletes, take that for example. Maybe so much of their identity, like 90% of their identity has been wrapped up in being a high school athlete, getting into college, getting a scholarship, being a starter, all of the stuff that goes with that. And then with sports being kind of non-existent for the past 6 months or so, that piece of their identity is kind of taken away from them.
Right.
So what would have happened if we collectively as a society in America had done a better job sort of providing a more holistic, well-rounded identity experience for these high school athletes? So it wasn't just, you lost sports, now you have no idea who you are. Not just because of the pandemic, but we have a child who lost a whole sport, lost a whole season because of an injury. Yeah. And we saw what that did to him. And so that's always a risk too. So
still affecting him.
I don't think I'm being clear because it's a Saturday morning and I haven't eaten yet. But do you understand what I'm saying?
Totally.
Can you make sense of what I'm saying in a more clear way?
No, it completely makes sense. And I think that
so I think we can benefit from, I think
Absolutely.
As Americans, I've been thinking about our sort of American culture a lot lately for two reasons. One, because I think this time of year, I always get a sort of global perspective. I don't know if you do, because this time of year, 20 years ago, we were preparing for our semester at sea. Like right now, we were meeting people for the first time, and we were planning we were like getting ready to travel to Vancouver and get on a ship and live on a ship for 100 days and travel around the world. So this time of year always makes me more reflective about that. In the context of the pandemic and looking at how other countries are faring and cultural stuff, it's been really interesting to me to look at how Americans have responded in a way that's different from other cultures. And I think that there's a lot that America can learn from older countries.
Absolutely.
Older cultures, right? Like we're still a baby country.
We really are.
We're a baby country when you're looking at a country like Japan with the cultural history of
what
that.
Are we, 250
I'm not talking about
years
like
old,
indigenous.
Not even.
I'm not talking about indigenous Native Americans. Clearly, they're not a baby country. They were here a long time before that. I'm talking about like settlers, colonialists, like Americans. Right. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about baby country. There's so much to learn from like a country like, or a place like Sardinia
or Japan,
Okinawa, Japan. There's a lot we can learn. And this, I think, is one of those things, one of these sort of like core values, right? The benefit of being deeply and meaningfully connected to other people who, it sounds like this, what do you call it? It's not Maui.
Moai.
So I'm thinking of The Rock,
which
and Maui from Moana.
So you thought Moana, Disney. I am actually sporting my Disney, one of my WDW.
I actually hate
hats.
that hat.
I love this hat.
So it's supposed to look like our dog ate it.
Yes.
I hate that.
Yes.
Okay.
I love this hat.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought of the Gremlins, Mogwai.
I don't remember the Gremlins enough. I remember don't get them wet after midnight or something like
That's
that.
what type of animal Gizmo is.
Oh.
No. Anyway.
Okay.
there's a lot of research articles that are referenced in the article that you sent me from Positive Psychology, and they talk about Ikigai has been known to influence immune function and increase life expectancy, reduce anxiety, and improve resilience. Act as an intermediary between flow experience and sense of coherence, and enhance self-esteem, acceptance of adversity, amongst many other favorable outcomes. I have to give a shout out to Mikey Karen from Get Burly when he was chatting with us a few episodes ago about the importance of immune building in reference to fighting a virus like COVID or any sort of illness, how important it is to build those things up. You know, your body's natural defenses are in a lot of ways better than man-made medications.
But also your body's natural defenses can be bogged down, not just by like unhealthy eating and unhealthy lifestyle decisions, but also the mental health stuff, right? Like isolation and not being around a group of people that support you and are like-minded.
Yes.
I don't have the death statistics in front of me, but look at what the vast majority of Americans die from versus what the vast majority of individuals from cultures like the Japanese culture or parts of Italy die from, right? We're talking about primarily lifestyle decisions. And there was a switch somewhere around like the start of the 20th century where in America, most of the deaths were viruses, illnesses, diseases, things like that. And it switched, and now most of our deaths come from lifestyle decisions, smoking, like skin cancers from sun exposure, heart issues from having a not healthy diet, stress, all of that stuff.
And so, as everybody knows, I work in organ and tissue donation, and part of that is being very familiar with mortality and medical conditions and diagnoses that are related to death. And it may not be the direct cause, but many of the folks that die, especially earlier in their life, 50s, 60s, have a lot of those comorbidities. Smoking may not be the cause of death, but it's definitely more often than not part of the history.
Well, and that's the group that is most at risk with COVID-19, right? Or one of the groups that most is at risk is that group of individuals with comorbidities.
Right.
Obesity, diabetes, CHF, COPD, all of that stuff.
There's a fine line, I feel like, between Ikigai and making not so great decisions for your body, right? Like the self-care element, the reason to live.
Because if you're not set up with like a strong foundation, a reason to be, a reason to live, your Ikigai, the reason you get out of bed in the morning, a strong sense of self, strong sense of purpose, your why. If you don't have that, then when life goes bad, you're stressed.
Right.
And so you probably don't have the best coping strategies. So what do? You turn to maladaptive coping strategies. You pick up cigarettes, you pick up alcohol, you pick up nachos. And now I want nachos. I'm having a great day, but now I want nachos.
That was on,
what show was that on last night?
Excuse me.
I think that was on Schitt's Creek, yeah.
I was like, that sounds so good. I haven't tried the jackfruit.
It was in that movie we watched, An American Pickle.
Oh, The American Pickle.
Which I don't think I recommend.
Okay. This is not a pop culture episode, but
no.
And
I generally
gave it like a B+. I feel like
I'd give it a B-.
This is brand new. Came out on HBO Max yesterday. Everybody, we're recording this on Saturday. August 8th, and this was released a couple days ago or yesterday on HBO Max. Seth Rogen is very good.
I think he's funny. A genius.
He's a genius.
Like I think we think of like Lin-Manuel Miranda as a genius in like theater. I think
Lin-Manuel Miranda might be my favorite
musically.
human.
He's thinks a lot.
Besides you, of course.
Oh, okay. All right. And our children?
Besides them.
Okay, right.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like Seth Rogen is kind of genius material in terms of his like writing.
And comedy.
Yeah, like that movie he was in with Charlize Theron.
Like his what's the word, like compassion or like the sweetness factor. Like he's very excuse me. I lost my
That was weird.
I know, like lost oxygen for a second. His ability to create and write like really sweet, tender stuff. like tender comedy,
Yeah,
like
that's
real
interesting, yeah.
human, like tender
Yeah.
comedy.
So I wanted to really like it because I think I've grown to have a fondness for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I really liked it.
I wasn't crazy about the mid plot, like the middle
Yeah,
plot.
it got a little schmaltzy.
Like the beginning was great and the end was great. The middle was like, meh, what is this?
I think the concept is good. Anyways, that's where the jackfruit nachos came from.
Anyway, wow, we just derailed that completely.
Yep. Nothing new for us. This is what we should just call it, like the derailed podcast. Just see where we go.
Yeah.
We'll maybe come back. That people turn to stuff like that,
Yeah.
or maybe even turn to like binge watching TV
Right.
or something like that, or
Well, I was
sleeping.
thinking, like I've been, the boys, I don't know if we talked about this on an episode, but the boys got me my own Xbox for Father's Day.
So now I have 3 teenagers in the house.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
And it's been great, a lot of fun, like connecting with Jacob,
Can I just
playing
pause
with him.
again? When we were growing up, you could have one console
Yes,
in the
I
house,
talked about
and
this with
everybody
friends at
could
work.
play, right?
Yeah.
You just get like 4 remotes, and everyone
Right.
plays. Now, all of the makers, PlayStations, Xbox, have become
They're
quite genius, right? And they're like, well,
Like
if you really want to play together, you kind of need everyone needs
marketing
their own
geniuses.
Yeah.
So, again, we're just going to go with this side note because, for instance, there's one game, a lot of the games are free to download. You don't need to buy discs anymore, really, for the most
Wait,
part.
I'm going to pause you.
I have like 6 or 7
No,
games,
I'm
and I
gonna
don't have any
Why
discs.
are you not? I'm pausing
Go.
you. I'm pausing you because
Go.
there's a wonderful research study, actually training. It was like a 15-credit continuing education course that I took last year, all about sort of the psychology behind games like that are like free to download, but there's all these like upgrades you can pay for.
Yes.
We could do a whole episode on that.
We probably should.
I'll make
it's a
a note.
parenting episode. Because,
No, don't talk about it now. Save it.
well, okay.
Shh.
Saving it. Anyway,
Okay.
back to Ikigai. I wanted to get up today and just turn on the Xbox and keep playing with Jacob. Like that. And that's like,
That's a horrible Ikigai.
I know, but I guess that's my point. Like,
Okay.
there's a fine line. You have to identify, what's sort of detrimental to your well-being and maybe feels good in the moment or something, and then think about really what the long-term effects of that are. Instead, I got up early, took Lola for a walk, and went for a 2-mile run. And I know I love running, but I'm really doing it right now to get myself back on track health-wise. And ultimately, that is really what I think Ikigai might mean for me right now, is the health part, right? I love my job and everything as well, but right now for me, that's that. But
Well, also your job, for most people, your job is not going to be your job for your entire life. Hopefully you make it to a place of retirement, and then you retire and you're not working that job.
Right.
And a lot of people, I see a lot of people that come to me and reach out for therapy at that point.
I'm just looking at the Instagram feed.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That reach out for therapy at that point because they lose their identity, because their Ikigai has been their work for
Right.
their entire life. And then they retire at 65, and people are living longer, so they're facing maybe 20, 30 years of not working. And if your whole identity has been wrapped up solely in your work, you're kind of screwed when you
Right,
hit
right.
retirement. You're depressed. You don't know who you are. Your friends have all been tied up with work, if you've had friends, right?
Mhm.
And so it's really good for, you said, like, I love my job and everything, but I think it's good for people's Ikigai to not be solely their work.
Right,
I think
right.
it's got to be
It's
sort of rich and varied, and
bunch of
not like
different
one
factors.
person, right? Like
Right.
your Ikigai can't just be your partner or your children or your job. I'm going to assume, it sounds like the Ikigai sort of history from Okinawa is really kind of varied and
Yeah.
diverse and about a group and not just one sole
exactly.
person.
Yeah.
So how do we figure out your Ikigai?
We're gonna do that after the break. We're gonna take a break real quick, but before the break, I wanted to read a little bit of this next paragraph from the article from Positive Psychology. It says, "Having Ikigai means that each day is infused with meaning and reflects not only psychological factors such as well-being, hopes, and dreams, but also an individual's consciousness of their motivation for a living. The discovery of one's Ikigai is attainable with patience, commitment, and introspective exploration. While the concept is decidedly personal and specific to the individual, Ikigai is consistently found at the convergence of four fundamental elements, namely passion, mission, vocation, and profession.
Say those again.
Passion, mission, vocation, and profession. So passion, what you love.
What's the difference between vocation and profession?
I'm going to...
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Passion is what you love. Mission is what the world needs, which is very cool.
And very un-American.
Yes.
So sorry.
Yeah, right.
American ideals are like what I need, not what.
Me.
This is a very kind of... This is a very... Okay, now we're getting political. This is a very kind of Japanese cultural, like it's about the collective and not the person.
Right. Mm-hmm. Vocation is what you are good at, and profession is what you get paid for.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Huh, okay.
Very interesting.
I'm writing that down.
Again, this article is the best one that we're reviewing today, and they've quoted a lot of different other academic references all the way through. That was Garcia, Morales, and Cleary from 2017. That whole last part about those four fundamental elements. I think this article was written by author by the name of Elaine Houston, but again, we're going to share this link with everybody. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about how do we attain this? How do we find it?
Okay.
All right, you good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, we will be right back. Hey, Changing Perspectives fans, we have some very exciting news for you. How do you get even more changing perspectives delivered right to your inbox? By signing up for Jenni's new newsletter, of course. Jenni's newsletter includes great resources, tips, products, new blog content, podcast episodes, and much, much more. Visit jennybrennan.com right now to sign up and be among the first fans to be notified of upcoming promotions and contests. That's jennybrennan.com. Sign up now. And now, back to the show. All right, we are back. Jenni, did you enjoy the break?
Oh, yeah, so much.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't yet had the pleasure of watching these recorded live on Facebook and Instagram, you get some additional content. It'll be better in the future. During the break, it wasn't that great for the Facebook and Instagram.
Are we supposed to be doing something?
No, but this is an opportunity for you to get an extra. Our videos are longer than the actual episode.
I see. Not on Instagram because we cut off at an hour.
But we can, once it cuts off, we can turn it back on, do another video.
That's true.
It's not a big deal. But if you haven't yet been able to watch our live Instagram and Facebook recordings, you do get additional content if you care to have some.
Okay, all right. I see.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So before the break, we talked about...
I'm enjoying scrolling through your Facebook, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Because I have your phone.
Oh, nice. Are you enjoying yourself?
I am, because someone posted, I'm no expert on COVID-19, but this is the cure, and it's a picture of the cure.
The Cure?
From 1980s.
Oh.
The Cure. That's funny.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that funny post. So what's the goal in this topic, Ikigai? It's how to find it, right? So we've defined it. We talked about the history, what it might mean.
Because
but how do we find it?
It seems like if you are living with, how do you use that? If you found your Ikigai, if you have Ikigai, I don't know how to actually say it, but if Ikigai is in your life, then presumably you are happier, you are probably healthier, and you are probably more likely to live a longer life.
Yeah.
So I see no reason to not find your Ikigai.
Absolutely. I think it's good for everybody, whatever that might mean.
I don't know what the drawback would be.
Well, we're gonna walk through this tool because there's an exercise connected to this positivepsychology.com article that you sent. It's a toolkit, and it talks about how to find your Ikigai. So we're just gonna read through this, and we'll try to figure out if we can find it for ourselves.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The goal of this exercise is to help clients find purpose and meaning in their lives by engaging in the Japanese practice of Ikigai. In doing so, clients can explore and connect with what is most meaningful by discovering the point at which their passions and talents converge with what others need or are willing to pay for.
Ah.
So that's interesting. How do you interpret that?
that your life can be more fulfilling if the things that you are passionate and good at are also things you can get paid for.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And before the break, we talked about there's 4 elements of Ikigai, and it was the difference between vocation and profession.
Mm-hmm.
Vocation being what you're good at and what you get, and profession being what you get paid to do. And I guess in the best situation, it's the same thing, right?
For me, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I'm okay at it, but
I think you're pretty good.
I love what I do. I don't come back from like vacation and
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, I hate my job, I don't want to go. But I got to build my own job. I got to build my own practice, and that was hard to do, scary to do.
Mm-hmm.
How do we find Ikigai? I feel like I'm in an infomercial right now. You're like, just wait till the end.
Hang on.
Yeah.
All right. So finding one's Ikigai requires a commitment to action and is not likely to be discovered overnight. Let's see. People should carefully consider each of the 4 circles and allow themselves ample time to respond to the central question of each circle. So I think this particular article and tool is employing a Venn diagram. You know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to explain to people listening what a Venn diagram is?
I don't know that I can.
Try.
Oh, thanks for your support. A Venn diagram helps you to see visually where different concepts or ideas or things overlap.
Yeah.
Right. And so often with a Venn diagram, it's circles, and then at some point, like the top 2 circles might overlap in the middle, or they might all kind of overlap in the center with something that overlaps. You've seen a lot of them probably if you're on social media throughout this COVID thing.
So
I feel like I've seen Venn diagrams a lot lately.
Yeah, so have I. There is a couple examples of a Venn diagram in this article, and it references while Ikigai is deeply personal to the individual, this may serve as a springboard or source of inspiration for some people. So the example of the Venn diagram in this article, there is value to be found in overlapping responses to the 4 questions. So that's what you have to do. This is the key. Are you ready? Here's the infomercial.
It's all yours for $9.99.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Things you have to answer these 4 questions and see what the overlapping responses are in the Venn diagram. The things that you love and that you're also good at equals passion. The things that the world needs and you also love equals mission. The things that you can be paid for and also what the world needs, vocation. Things that you're good at and also what you can be paid for equals profession. So those 4 elements.
So those 4 elements. So essentially we're supposed to take out like a pen and paper,
Mm-hmm.
draw 4 big circles, or I would say maybe 4 separate pieces of paper, or you could do it on your computer or whatever. And first list like what were they? What's the first one?
Passion. So the things that you love and that also you're good at.
Wait, that's one thing?
Things that you love.
Yep.
Right.
That's called passion?
Yes. No.
Okay.
It says things that you love and that you are also good at equals passion. So
Okay.
that's what the overlapping answers are. Right. So you have those 4 elements of Ikigai.
But
Right?
that sounded like 2 right there.
Right. So you have those 4 elements.
Can you tell me the 4 elements?
Passion, mission, vocation, profession.
Tell me again tell me what passion
So the
is.
questions, let's see. So there's 4 questions, right? The things that you love.
That is not a question.
Things that you love.
That is not a question.
Well, that's what it says.
Okay, this is why I'm confused. So
Statement.
what are the things that you love?
Me
That's a
right
question.
now?
No.
Oh.
That would be it in question form.
No. I'm going to answer that. So things that you love, that's question 1.
That's not a question.
Can you wait? Things that you love, things that you're good at, things the world needs. There is things you get paid for, right?
Things that you love, things that you're good at, things that you love, things that the world needs.
Things you get paid for and things that you're good at, right? So those are the 4 circles.
Okay.
Okay.
Passion, mission, vocation, profession.
So passion is defined as those 2 circles overlap. the things that you love and the things you're good at. When those two overlap, that's your passion.
But isn't the things that you're good at? I'm confused again. This is where my learning style comes in. I'm a visual learner, visual. And I have nothing visual in front of me right now. This is why like audio books don't work for me.
You know what? I feel like, here we go. I have a visual for you.
Okay.
From toolshero.com. Okay, let's talk about this. It's called the Ikigai diagram. I'm gonna write this ship right now.
Okay.
So Ikigai is the place where your passion, mission, calling, and your career intersect. That's the word we missed before, so you weren't really understanding. This is the best illustrated.
Is this what you're trying to describe to me?
Yes.
Oh, you should put this on the camera.
Put it on the camera. Go ahead, show it. Show it to the Facebook streaming world. That's Ikigai.
Okay. This is helpful.
Perfect. So let me pull that article back up again, because that was good.
Okay, so I would just like to clarify that these are not questions. These are prompts.
Prompts, okay. Well, the article that you sent me,
I disagree with.
Reference them as questions.
Not a question. Very confusing. So one circle you would write all of the things that you love. Another circle, all of the things that you need. Another circle, all of the things you can be paid for. And the fourth circle, all of the things that you're good at. You write that all out, and then you sort of see where there is overlap. Where are there things that you wrote down on the circle, what you love, and the circle, what you're good at? If there are things that are on both of those, then those are actually your passion.
Yes.
Okay. And if there are things you wrote down on the circle for what you love and what the world needs.
That's your vocation.
Nope, that's your mission.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see it. Okay.
And if you write down on the circle what the world needs, and you've got stuff that's also on the circle what you can be paid for, that would be your vocation.
We will share an image of this on our socials.
And it would be so helpful. Can this be the article cover?
We didn't create this, so we can't do that. But we can share a link to this.
Okay. I'm sending it to myself right now. This makes a lot of sense. Anyways, so the point of this picture is that if there are things that are on all four circles, it's something that you love, something the world needs, something you can be paid for, and something that you're good at, then you've actually found your Ikigai.
Yeah.
But okay, so how does this work into...
That's interesting.
Like friendship. You can't get paid for being people's friends, so... You talked, but that's the Maui, not Maui. I can't remember this word.
That's different.
Moana, that's something.
That's the Okinawan blue zone concept of having a tight-knit group of friends. It's right. Moai.
Moai.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a really interesting exercise. I really think people should. I want to do this.
I want to do it.
I want to pause this episode and do it.
I actually would say
maybe we should do a follow-up, pint size.
Oh, okay, maybe
we should.
But I was going to say it'd be interesting for people to post theirs too.
Yeah, post your Ikigai.
Maybe I can create a template for folks.
Okay, that's a good idea. So what you love, what you're good at, what you get paid for, and then what the world needs. Those are the 4 prompts, not questions. And you put them together on the Venn diagram, and when they intersect, you have those 4 elements, and then Ikigai right in the middle.
Okay.
So how do you apply this? That's the next step here. So again,
let's
review.
Your first step would be to spend some time. So shut off the TV, shut off the social medias, feed your children, go sit in a car, go sit at a park, find sort of your
those kids
space.
Can fend for themselves.
It's really sad for me because what I have missed most, one of the things I have missed most in quarantine is sitting in Starbucks, because for some reason sitting at Starbucks had become where I do my best creative work. It's where articles get written. It's where courses get designed. Mm-hmm. It's something about the smell of coffee and people sort of chattering behind me and having quiet kind of dark space. Not quiet, but I don't know, not loud. Hi, dogs. Okay, great. Norma Jean, it's not time to play. Can you come sit down? Okay, thanks.
I can't agree more with the vibe.
But where was I going
Starbucks.
With that? Sorry, we had to have the dogs in here today, and Norma Jean wants to play. where was I going about that with Starbucks? What do you do? Oh, so get yourself right.
Prompts.
So get yourself to whatever your Starbucks is. Norma Jean is being so fresh. Everett woke up and Norma Jean was like, "Yes,
it's time to play." I don't know if they're on the live streams or not.
Sure, you can hear them.
Oh, they definitely moved that camera though.
Oh yeah, you're not there anymore.
I can move it back.
So get yourself to wherever your happy place is, right? And you get some paper and a pen, or if you're someone that works better electronically, set up your laptop or your iPad, and you brain dump 4 different things.
Yeah.
A whole list of what are the things that you love.
Do it, and we'll if
we should do it with our children too. I think teenagers could benefit from this.
Well, if you're into this, we can do a follow-up episode and share with everybody what our Ikigai Venn diagram looks like.
I actually think I want to incorporate this in the course that I'm developing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So what you love, it's funny because I was sort of working on it a little bit last night in the shower. That's where I guess that's become my Starbucks.
Where you do your best work.
I was thinking about it and I couldn't quite figure out a method, but I like this method. So you write down all of the things you love, then all of the things the world needs, all of the things you can be paid for, and all of the things that you're good at, and you look for overlap with all of those. And then if you find some overlap between certain areas, it could be your passion, or it could be your mission, or it could be your vocation, or it could be your profession. If you find something that is on all 4 lists, that can be your Ikigai, right? Like that can be your reason to get up. Because listen, as someone that used to have jobs that I hated getting up for, having a job now that I love getting up for, I don't hate getting out of bed in the morning. Like that,
right.
That is a huge shift. I don't hate going to work. I don't hate.
Right.
I mean, I am getting a little tired of working here in this little tiny space in my house,
right. But you've made it very chill. It's nice in here. See the changing perspectives, mason jar, everybody.
Yep, and my whatchamacallit?
Diffuser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Diffuser.
Essential oil diffuser.
Yep, and some wall stuff, and it will be better once my fake Peloton is in here and we sort of figure out where everything is going. So I can see the benefit to doing this.
Right.
Does it mean that then you do this exercise and you're like, oh, I found something that's on all 4 pages. It's my Ikigai. Does that mean that tomorrow you can go quit your job and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Boss person, I'm quitting because I want to explore my Ikigai? Probably not the safest thing to do.
Why not?
But maybe that's something to then sort of set as your intention and try to figure out how to make that a bigger part of your life, right?
Right.
I think so many people... This is sort of the core belief here, right? Is that you go through elementary, middle, high school, somewhere around your junior, senior year at 16 or 17, when your brain still has about 7 more years left to be fully developed, you have to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life professionally. Right. A lot of people choose wrong because they're babies and they don't know what they want then. And I don't say babies negatively. I just mean how crazy is it that we expect people to make those decisions at that point in their life. And then you're supposed to pick a trade school or a college and go get some additional training, come out, get your job, and that's what you do for the rest of your life. That is so crazy.
That's insane.
To me. Because then what happens is then you get kind of stuck, right? You fall into this rhythm, you develop sort of a network, you feel like these are the skills I have, I can't go back, can't go back to school, can't go back to training, can't start something new, so you're stuck, you're stressed, you eat, you drink, you smoke, you do all the maladaptive stuff, you're not happy, you have a heart attack at 42. And that's it, and your life is over. Because you're not doing what makes you happy.
No.
And you've got space to do what makes you happy. It doesn't mean it's easy.
Yes.
It's hard and it's scary, but it can be so worth it. And so I see this Ikigai as a great tool to sort of have people start making those decisions or thinking about the things that are really, truly important to them. What's a different life you could see for yourself?
Right.
Does that make sense?
100%. This is a really great exercise, and I can't wait to actually do it. I'd have to take a second and apologize to our Facebook watchers because my feed wasn't updating and a few other people had made comments. I didn't see them. So I apologize. But our favorite semester at sea, Carrie, said hi a while ago, and Christy waved at us. And the incomparable Michael Randy Karen from GetBurley.com is watching.
Did he hear us talking about him?
Yeah, I think so. And he just said a comment that I wanted to share. I don't think he'll mind. He said in his practice at Get Burly, everybody check out getburly.com, by the way.
Also on TikTok, did you see that there is a TikTok that has like 10,000 views of Mikey?
Are you serious?
Yes.
I got to check that out. I haven't opened TikTok in a while.
Get on it. It's
closing soon. Might go away soon. Mikey says,
that is sort of the next foray for us.
Yes, we do have a TikTok account. We just haven't done anything.
I don't know what to do. I guess we could have been doing a TikTok thing. I'm not creative. If you have TikTok ideas for how to incorporate changing perspectives into TikTok, we'll take ideas.
We could do a little promo for your newsletter on there somehow. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll get on it. Mike said, in my practice, I often talk about the 3 Ps: purpose, passion, and principles, and discovering where these 3 intersect. So with no surprise whatsoever, Mikey is ahead of the curve and already is practicing Ikigai.
I would say, well, yeah, like
hands down.
Mikey, I don't know if you're still listening, but I'm going to use you as an example, and I don't think you'll mind. But when we met him on Semester at Sea, what did he say to us all the time? What did he say all the time? Get burly.
Get burly.
Like, that's burly all the time, right? And so here he is all these years later, and he has created a company that is doing, like he created and built sort of almost an empire around that concept, like that thing that he was passionate about, that he loved, that really defined him. He was able to find a way to get paid for that and elements of it that he's good at, right? So he really combined that. What were the 3 Ps? Passion, purpose,
Principles.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so he's a great example of that.
Yeah. I'll make sure in the future I refresh that feed. All I saw was that one comment saying hi to us from Julie a while ago. My bad. So the toolshero.com link I'm going to share really does have some of the best information on how to create your Venn diagram for your Ikigai. But then they go on to talk about how to apply your Ikigai. You can only apply your Ikigai once you know what it is for you. For many people, that requires an extensive search of the self first. But if you want to make a start at understanding your Ikigai, you can start by making your own Venn diagram. That's what they talk about. So that's really just the first step. It's not like, well, here's my Venn diagram, I'm done now. No, I think it probably takes a lot of reflection and thinking about it.
I think it's really opening a door, right? Like it's opening a door to a new sort of potential part of your life. And so change doesn't happen overnight, but it just sort of opens up your eyes to some new possibilities of life. And listen, like hope, it gives you hope, right? Yeah. And hope is whenever you do any research around grief or loss or death or dying or depression, hope is really powerful and really important. Our live video ended. Do you want
I'll start it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You talk.
You can still hear. You talk. I was trying to find the quote from Hamilton there.
Talk less.
Nope. It doesn't matter. Hope is a protective factor, right? So if someone has experienced a loss, if someone is suffering with depression, if someone, anything really, anything sort of negative, as long as they've got hope and they can have some sort of hope for a future, doesn't mean they know what that future is going to look like or who's going to be in it or what they're going to be doing. But if they can have a sense of hope that, I might be able to be happy or smile or have good people to support me, then that carries them through. And I feel like an exercise like this for someone who's maybe stuck in a job that they're not happy with, or maybe this pandemic has, made them think about things in a different way. Our neighbor is cleaning the inside of the back of his trunk. Is that something we should be doing?
Don't derail yourself.
Okay.
No, focus.
We should close the blinds.
What are you doing?
Then this Ikigai exercise can be a way to give folks sort of a sense of hope, right? Doesn't mean that it's going to create change, that you're going to wake up tomorrow and things are going to be different, but it's going to mean that tomorrow you wake up and maybe you've got this little voice in the back of your head that's a little bit louder saying like, all right, maybe there is a different kind of reality for myself here. Maybe there is something I could be doing that is more in line with my passion, that is more in line with what I sort of want to be doing in the world, and that I can maybe get paid for. Mm-hmm. So I see that as sort of a stepping stone. This is sort of a stepping stone.
Well, I think that this article really does a nice job at telling you how to start. Because I was thinking about like, where do I start? Like, how do I fill that first bubble, that first circle? And it says, you fill the circles with words, ideas, pictures, or sentences that fall under the "you like it," "you are good at it," "the world needs it," or "you are paid for it." Try to answer questions like, what makes you tick? What touches you? What are you good at? Which unique talents do you have, and which can you further develop? What can you do that it is of use to others? Is there something you can contribute to the world? What change do you like to bring into the world? So those are really nice examples of how to get started, like what prompts to use.
This might be what there might be more to come on this.
I love that.
No, I've been thinking about a 5-day Facebook challenge. This might be good content to do that around.
Okay, awesome. We did have, I don't know.
Because people don't make time for stuff like this, right? Like if you're in a rhythm and a routine and you get up every morning and you have your cup of coffee or tea, because I hate coffee. I love the smell of coffee. Although not the kind of coffee you've been buying lately. That smells awful. But in general, I like the smell of coffee.
So you get up bad-mouthing my Nespresso machine.
No, I like the concept of it.
Yeah, but
it reminds me of our vacation,
does,
whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's very interesting about you, that you love the smell of coffee, but you don't like the taste of it.
I am an enigma.
Do you want to have a sip of my black iced coffee?
If it's part of your routine, like get up and do your morning routine and like sit outside and listen to the birds and do some journaling and introspective work, stuff like this, then you've got time and space to fit this in.
Right.
If not, you're not going to do it unless time and space is created for you. So a little Facebook group might be helpful. You know, if you had like an assignment a day that you had to sort of post and it was free, this might be helpful.
I would love that.
So maybe we'll see. Might take me until Starbucks gets back open and I can sit. Can I not? I can't sit in a Starbucks, can I?
I don't think so. No, the Starbucks I went in the other day, not
that I want to. I haven't sat inside anywhere.
All their seats were, what's it called?
Stacked?
Stacked. You weren't available.
Okay.
I have to figure out how to see the comments live, because I see comments happening on Facebook from the phone over there, but I can't see them on the computer.
I feel like you saw them last time. Did you refresh?
Yeah, refresh. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, our friend Greg said, is this every week? And we're going to try, actually, to do this every week for our Facebook live recording.
We could get better about putting out when we're going to do it.
I know.
Right? Because we knew.
Sometimes we don't know, though.
But we did know.
We did know that today we were going to do that. Yeah.
We're learning.
We are learning.
Bear with us.
I have to go back to my article here. I keep thinking about, I just have to share because that's what we do. I'm thinking about filling the circles for myself.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like, for me, an example of Ikigai might be my recent decision to be vegetarian.
Oh.
And also like my focus on making smart, like, not only is it better for me, I think, as a vegetarian to choose like organic food and try to have food that wasn't made with pesticides and that type of thing, but I also feel like that is good for the environment as well. I know you make fun of me for my love of bees and stuff, but I think that it is important.
Because I do not want to have bees because I'm terrified of bees.
I know. I don't think our yard's big enough, honestly, to have a beehive. I want a beehive so bad.
But you can't get paid for being a vegetarian.
No, I think but I keep thinking about figuring out what's going to go in my circles when I fill out my Venn diagram.
So you know what's interesting is that when you started saying that, I thought you were going to say something different, because our last episode that we recorded live on Facebook and Instagram, we were talking about communication styles, right? And about how in groups you tend to not be yourself, right? And then I think it was that night we went to a friend's house in the backyard, social distancing in the backyard, and you got into a conversation with a friend who didn't know that you like taught music lessons. And during that conversation, that friend bought a guitar, shipped it to his house, and you and 3 other friends set up like group guitar lessons, which haven't yet happened.
They're happening
but I think
soon.
They're happening maybe Friday. I thought you were going to go there, right? Because there's something that you're passionate about. There's something that you're good at.
Yeah,
there's
thanks.
something that people need, right? Because this friend was like, I've always wanted to play guitar. I didn't know anyone that could teach me. And then, not that your friends are paying you, but it is something you could get paid for, right? You used to do this as sort of like a side gig. Dizzy Bird Studios, that's the birth of Dizzy Bird Studios, who produces this, was music education. I thought that's where you're going.
That's
so it's
funny.
really interesting that you didn't go there.
Well, I did go there a little bit earlier, like when you thought, thinking about like profession versus what is it, vocation. Like music and doing this and whatnot. Ooh, I'm getting a low battery signal over there, Jenny.
Because it should have been plugged in.
Will you close that signal? But yeah, no, I absolutely thought of that first. You know, my background being in music, and then also doing things like this, like producing and performing and that kind of thing. And then, you know, thinking about what I do for work is completely not that. It's healthcare, it's science, it's completely different.
But I think that's really
than what I was trained in.
That's sort of a not just American, but that's sort of a like traditional view that like, oh, if I get paid for something, that has to be my full-time career, like my Monday through Friday 9 to 5 career, right? You could get paid for something that is not your primary career.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could build a profession
right.
on the side, right? Like that's sort of how I started my private practice, is scaffolded, right? Like I started out part-time, and then as it grew, I let go of the other stuff.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or decided I didn't let go of all the other stuff. I'm still teaching.
You are still teaching, yeah. So I want to finish up. I think we're sort of approaching the end of our episode.
It feels like this ride is coming to a conclusion.
Yes. Please keep. What is the quote from? Never mind. I always say it all the time, but I won't say it. The boat ride in Mexico in Epcot.
Exit to the right.
What?
Exit to the right.
Exit to the right.
That might be my favorite ride.
Yeah. So this toolshero.com article talks about the advantages of having an Ikigai. The advantages seem clear. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning, enjoying in your work, loving what you do, giving meaning to your existence, combined with healthy eating and a nice living environment. Your Ikigai is an important ingredient for healthy aging. They go on to give a couple examples. An appealing example of people who practice their Ikigai every day are a couple of folks from the Netherlands. Let's say it says they posted their experience on a website. They aim to make the Netherlands the happiest country in the world. They want to achieve that by helping others get the best out of themselves. They say, one thing we learned in recent years, if you really want something and you choose a method to get there, everything is possible, not only in your mind, but especially in reality. So that is a really great article, toolshero.com. And actually, Jenny, they have an Ikigai template.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, you can download it. So the article you sent me, and I got a little bit of information about blue zones to share with everybody, and then the history of Ikigai. And then this one, again, has a template you can download, which is great.
From the article that I sent you?
No, the article that I found, but the article you sent me.
But you'll post the link?
Yeah, post the link. So I think basically I've got 3 or 4 different articles to share for this episode. So
just really quickly, it's interesting that you highlighted the Netherlands, because I think that there's an interesting sort of cultural sub-thread there, that the Netherlands the Dutch are also another cultural group that really values their elders. Like they've got these beautifully designed nursing homes that are like villages. So they're not like the nursing homes we have here that are very clinical, and like stark walls. They've got these beautiful rooms and villages that like they go to the kitchen, but it's really a bakery, or they go to the bakery, but it's really like the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's where they go for breakfast, and they've got like little art galleries and stuff like that. And that reminds me of the time when we were in Japan for semester at sea. One of the things I did is were you with me? I don't think you did.
No.
I toured some senior facilities, and very similar, not like a village, but just very different than sort of the American ideal. So there's also these cultures where they practice things like Ikigai.
Mm-hmm.
There's sort of this huge value that they place on their elders. And I think that there's a connection there, right? Because we don't place that same value here in America. I don't think many people look forward to getting old in America and going into a nursing home. And certainly now with COVID, that's the group that is the most at risk. And
right.
like, well, no big deal. It's not a big deal. It only kills the old people, and old people suck anyways, so no big deal, right? Like that's sort of the American value, and that they're going to die anyways. Yeah, that's not the value in so many other cultures, and those cultures tend to be a little happier, right? Because they get to look forward. Like being old, getting old, growing old doesn't mean that you become a burden or you might get put in a nursing home, but it means you still live this fulfilling, rich life where family and friends support you. So I think it's really interesting. Like there's some deeper kind of cultural stuff here that is worth paying attention to.
You know, there's also a great Medium article on this, how to discover your Ikigai. I had forgotten that I looked that one up, and that's a lot of great information too. So that's another article we'll share. Lots of great links.
There's a lot of links in this one.
We have a lot to share this time. This has been really cool. I'm really excited to do this. I want to find my Ikigai.
I'm really glad that I signed up for the little free trial from Psychology Tools. Is that where it's from?
Positive Psychology.
Positive Psychology.
Yeah.
Psychology Tools is also a thing. Really happy I signed up for the little free trial and got this email that came across my inbox, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting, and I forwarded it on to you. So thank you for taking that little seed and planting it, because I really enjoyed this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No.
Okay.
I think I like the cameras better on this side.
Yeah, I like it too.
The other side.
You get to see, the cameras can see.
I don't like the cameras, but I get that it's the next stuff.
We have our nice good vibes only sign up there, and a little showcase for changing perspectives, and your dog mom nameplate.
Yeah, it is interesting that you made us take our children's photos down.
I did.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
We got to keep it
a little private.
Yeah, a little private.
All right.
Okay, everybody. That is going
to
do it for today. Thank you so much for listening. For today's show notes links, I have so much great stuff to share with you. Positive Psychology, toolshero.com. There's a Medium article, as well as that Time article about blue zones.
And the YouTube video with the description
of it. The YouTube video in the description, which I hope was loud enough. If not, I might be able to boost the audio on that. Anyway, everybody, please follow us on Facebook at Changing Perspectives Podcast and on Instagram at Changing Perspectives Blog. Don't forget to sign up for Jenni's newsletter contest and enter to win a chance at getting a $20 gift card to a local vendor of your choice. You can send us an email, everybody, at changingpodcast@gmail.com. You can also visit our website by going to changingperspectivesblog.com. And while you're there, don't forget to visit the shop to check out all of that great Changing Perspectives merchandise, like that mason jar up there. Go ahead and subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode, and we will see you next time. Say bye, Jenni.
Bye, Jenni.
The Changing Perspectives podcast is produced, recorded, and edited by Dizzy Bird Studios. Copyright 2020. Please visit Dizzy Bird Studios on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dizzy Bird Studios.